You've been told to care, to feel deeply, to react quickly, to let your emotions define your humanity. But what if I told you that every time you react, you give away your throne? The Stoics saw this centuries ago. They realized the world isn't cruel, people aren't your enemies, and pain isn't the problem. Your attachment is. Attachment to opinions, attachment to outcomes, attachment to how others see you. And the more you attach, the more you suffer. Emotional detachment isn't about being cold, it's about being free. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not poetry. That's a battle command. Because in the war of emotion, your greatest weapon is distance. You want peace? Then you must learn to detach, not from life, but from illusion. When you're angry, detach from the idea that things should go your way. When you're sad, detach from the idea that pain shouldn't exist. When you're afraid, detach from the idea that safety is guaranteed. This is where emotional mastery begins. The Stoics didn't chase happiness. They built equanimity, a state where joy and sorrow pass through you without breaking your shape. Imagine standing in a storm and every drop of rain hits you, but none of it sinks in. That's detachment. Not running away, but standing still while everything around you changes. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The pain you feel isn't from life itself. It's from your interpretation of it. The insult isn't the issue. Your ego is. The loss isn't the pain. Your attachment is. The uncertainty isn't chaos. Your fear is. Detach from these illusions, and suddenly, life loses its claws. In this video, I'll give you 10 Stoic principles to master emotional detachment, not to escape feeling, but to rule over it. Because control is not about suppression, it's about choice. The choice to feel without drowning, to love without clinging, to live without fear. And when you reach that level of stillness, you become unbreakable. Principle 1. The mind is the fortress. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them." This is the foundation of Stoicism and of your peace. The world will always be chaotic. People will lie, betray, insult, and disappoint, but their actions mean nothing until you label them. You decide if a word hurts you. You decide if an event destroys you. You decide if their opinion has weight. And when you realize that your emotions rise only from your judgments, you begin to take back the throne of your mind. Detach from your need to label everything. Stop calling things good or bad. They simply are. The Stoic doesn't say, "Why did this happen to me?" He says, "What can I do with this?" When you think like that, you transform suffering into fuel. Every problem becomes a forge, every pain a sculptor shaping your strength. That's how you begin to rule over emotion, not by numbing it, but by seeing it for what it really is, a signal, not a sentence. This is how the detachment begins, not by closing your heart, but by opening your awareness. The world doesn't have to change. Your mind does. And once you control your mind, you've already won. The Stoics saw what most people still can't. Everything you love is temporary. Everything you fear will fade, and everything you cling to will one day leave. That's not tragedy, that's truth. Seneca said, "He who fears death will never do anything worth of a living man." Why? Because fear of loss is what chains you to weakness. You cling to people because you fear loneliness. You cling to success because you fear being forgotten. You cling to pleasure because you fear the emptiness that follows. But the Stoic sees through it. He whispers, "Nothing is mine, only borrowed from time." When you truly understand impermanence, you stop chasing what will rot and start building what endures, character. Principle 2, the power of impermanence. Everything changes, everything fades, everything dies, and that's exactly why it's beautiful. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Soon you'll have forgotten all things. Soon all things will have forgotten you." That sounds dark, but it's liberation. Because if nothing lasts, then your pain won't either. Your failure won't either. Your shame won't either. Impermanence frees you from obsession. The moment you accept it, peace enters. Next time you lose something, instead of clinging, whisper, "It was never mine." That's not detachment from love. It's detachment from possession. Love deeply, but let go easily, because what leaves wasn't meant to stay, and what stays doesn't need to be held so tight. Principle 3, detach from approval. Humans crave validation like air, but the Stoic breathes differently. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Think about that. He's saying, the price of greatness is misunderstanding. When you detach from approval, you become dangerous. Because no one can manipulate you anymore. You stop performing. You start being. You stop needing applause. You start walking your path, even in silence. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, yet we care more about their opinion than our own." Stop begging for external peace. It's rented peace, and the rent is your freedom. When people praise you, smile. When they criticize you, smile again, because neither adds nor removes anything from your worth. The Stoic doesn't reject love or attention. He just refuses to depend on it. He lives like the sun, shining not for approval, but because shining is his nature. Emotional detachment begins when you stop asking, "How do they see me?" and start asking, "Who am I when no one is watching?" That's the moment your soul returns home. The Stoics lived by a single rule that made them nearly untouchable. Focus only on what's within your control. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that for a second. Most people live backwards. They waste energy on the weather, other people's opinions, market crashes, or someone's attitude. But Stoics, they draw a line. If it's external, it's not worth the fight. If it's internal, your choices, your reactions, your discipline, that's where your power lives. Epictetus taught this in the Dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, some are not. That one line, if understood deeply, can make you emotionally bulletproof. Because when you stop fighting the uncontrollable, your mind becomes still. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing loss. You stop reacting to chaos. Picture a storm raging around a statue. Winds, rain, thunder. The statue doesn't move. That's emotional detachment. You may not control life's storms, but you control your stance. Here's how to live this every day. When someone insults you, ask, "Is this within my control?" If not, silence. When plans fail, ask, "Can I still act with virtue?" If yes, focus there. When fear arises, ask, "Am I feeding it or facing it?" The Stoic mind filters reality like a warrior filters noise in battle. Only what's useful, only what's actionable. Everything else, dust. That's how you build inner peace so solid the world can't touch it, Now, this one sounds dark, but it's one of the most liberating Stoic practices ever taught. It's called premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of misfortune. The Stoics didn't just hope for peace, they trained for chaos. Every morning they imagined everything that could go wrong: losing money, being insulted, failing in front of others, even death itself. Why? Because they knew the mind that has faced every outcome in advance cannot be broken by surprise. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." When you visualize loss, betrayal, or failure, not to fear them, but to accept them, you strip them of emotional control. The next time something bad happens, you'll say, "I saw this coming. I was ready." That's the Stoic way, not denial, but preparation. Think about a warrior before battle. He doesn't assume victory. He envisions the worst. And because of that, he's never paralyzed by fear. You can do the same in daily life. Before an important meeting, imagine rejection. Then act calmly anyway. Before a tough conversation, imagine anger. Then speak wisely anyway. Before your day begins, imagine obstacles. Then move through them with grace. It's like emotional armor. You're not hoping the world is kind. You're becoming strong enough that it doesn't matter. Marcus Aurelius said, "When you wake up, tell yourself, 'Today I will meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful.'" He expected difficulty and met it with calm. That's negative visualization. Seeing the storm before it arrives and choosing to remain unmoved when it hits. Because the one who rehearses loss learns the art of peace. This is the heart of Stoicism, amor fati, meaning love your fate, not just accepting what happens, but embracing it, loving every twist, every loss, every delay, every heartbreak, as if you had chosen it yourself. Most people resist reality. They fight what has already happened. They say, "This shouldn't have happened to me." But the Stoics knew that's the root of all suffering, to argue with the universe itself. Marcus Aurelius said, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." That's amor fati. Whatever life throws at you, you burn it into fuel. It's not passive acceptance, it's active transformation. You take pain and make it purpose. You take loss and make it strength. You take fate and make it yours. When something bad happens, the average person asks, "Why me?" The Stoic asks, "How can I use this?" If you truly believe that everything happens for a reason, even the hard things, then nothing can break you. Because life can only give, never take. Epictetus, who was born a slave, crippled and beaten, said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go smoothly." That's freedom. Not freedom from pain, but freedom within pain. When you say yes to what is, you no longer waste your energy on resistance. You channel it into adaptation, growth, power. Imagine you lose a job. You can curse fate, or you can cooperate with it. Maybe it's a sign to create your own path. Maybe life is redirecting you, not rejecting you. The Stoics didn't see fate as an enemy. They saw it as a sculptor, and every blow of the chisel was shaping them into something greater. So, next time something happens that you didn't want, whisper to yourself, "Amor fati." Love this too, because this moment is not against you. It is you. It's part of your story. When you master amor fati, you stop being a victim of life and start becoming its ally. Because when you love your fate starts loving you back. This is the foundation of all Stoic power, the single truth that separates peace from misery. Control what you can, ignore what you can't. Epictetus opened his teachings with this idea. Some things are in our control and others are not. That's it. That's the entire philosophy of emotional detachment, summarized in one line. But here's where people get it wrong. They know this, but they don't live it. They spend their days trying to control the uncontrollable, trying to change people, trying to force outcomes, trying to make the world fair. And every time reality resists them, they break. The Stoics, on the other hand, drew a clear line in their mind. There are two worlds: the inner world, my thoughts, choices, actions, and the outer world, everything else. Only one belongs to me. Once you truly understand that, life becomes light. You stop wasting energy trying to manage what was never yours to begin with. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. So ask yourself right now, what am I trying to control that isn't mine? Someone's opinion of you, the weather, a delay, a rejection, the past. Every one of those things is a chain you can drop instantly if you just let go. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You still play your role, you still give your best, but without desperation, without resistance, without fear. The Stoics played their parts fully as fathers, mothers, leaders, soldiers. But when life took something away, they didn't scream, "Unfair." They whispered, "It was never mine to begin with." That's the mindset of peace. When someone insults you, you can't control their tongue, but you can control your silence. When life throws obstacles, you can't control the path, but you can control your steps. When death comes, you can't control the moment, but you can control your acceptance. This is emotional mastery, not to be cold, but to be unshakable. And the more you live by this truth, the less chaos can touch you, because you'll realize peace was never something you find. It was something you choose. So here's the Stoic challenge. From this day forward, separate what's in your control from what isn't. And when something outside that circle disturbs you, smile and say, "This is not mine." That's how you rise above the noise. That's how you protect your mind. That's how you become untouchable. You won't stop caring. You'll just start caring wisely. Because once you master emotional detachment, the world still moves, but you stand still.